Sup my dudes, Valk here, and this is the first thing I'm doing. I just woke up from a good nap, and I'm going to talk to you guys today about the Elfelt nerfs. Now, it's not a secret for most people, so I'm going to go out and say it blatantly here in this video. If you guys don't know, I am the main balancer and the main creative mind behind a lot of the passives and a lot of things to do with AV. I do a lot of the balancing, stuff like that. And a lot of times, or not a lot of times, but sometimes things get into the game that either I myself have personally made mistakes on or they weren't towards the intended design. So I want to talk about that today. And I want to talk about all the nerfs to Elfelt, why they happened, why they occurred, and talk about some complaints or some things I've seen pop up inside the Discord. So hopefully this message reaches you guys and you guys can see exactly why things were done the way they're done. So, I've already included two clips. Well, I don't know if I put them in here, they might just be towards the end, but I already have two clips where I directly compare Soul and Elfelt. And before you guys go and see the damage, I want to explain how both of them work and why Elfelt is just miles better. So, Soul. First off, Soul. Soul has crazy DPS. Soul does so much damage, but I see so many people talking about Soul. See this cone here? This is Soul's follow-up. This tiny cone that hits like maybe 3 people at once, this is all Soul's follow-up is. Because if you read his passive, it says follow up with attack 1. Guess what attack 1 is? It's his attack on placement. So whenever he's doing this, all of his follow-up damage is not in this giant cone. It is in a tiny, tiny little cone that hits like maybe here, and that's it. It's really only good for bossing, and even then, it's not as good as Elfelt currently is. Prime Elfelt was so much stronger than anything else you guys know, and I'm going to explain why everything got changed. But Prime Elfelt was so much stronger than you guys know, and a lot of you guys don't seem to realize why it was very unhealthy for the game and needed to change. So, there was a lot of mistakes in the dev team and communication whenever it comes to her, but there's also some stuff that I just straight up missed. Because I do the majority of the unit testing as well, and I missed a lot of stuff on Elfelt. So if you're going to get mad at somebody over the Elfelt changes, get mad at me. So, next up, let's get to Elfelt. What makes Elfelt so much better than Soul? Soul has higher DPS, according to the people in chat. So, Elfelt, want to know what her follow-up AoE is? It's this. See this fat cone? This giant cone that covers almost, what is this, like 70% of her circle? That's, not 70%, but like a good 60%, no, not even that. 50% would be here. I'm going to say like 35, a good 35% for circle. That's her follow-up. So you go into this. This is her main attack, which is like almost half. Like she's basically doing half AoE. And then this follow-up is that original AoE size. So not only is she able to output more DPS during her uptime window, she's able to have a longer uptime window than Soul if you have proper rotation as well as a good Black Spirit. And she's also able to have better AoE. So she out DPSs him, has more uptime, and has a better AoE. Like, hello? I don't understand why we're saying Soul is stronger than Elfelt. That's a very silly argument to me. The next one I've seen people say is Virgil nerfs. I've seen so many people talk about Virgil nerfs. Virgil, okay, so I need to turn VFX on for this one. Virgil used to have it, so his follow-up attacks specifically made it so his follow-up attacks were specifically doing his attack 3 inside Sin Devil trigger. So let me go ahead and select units and go to Vigil. Vigil power. I don't need him to do damage because this is everybody's mostly questioning his AoEs. And then we're also going to select units is dead. So it's going to be hard to notice because of all the good lord my eyeballs going on. But I want you to look at his attack he does. Well, actually I can tell you. He does attack 1. Which, if we go to him real quick, let's actually sell him and place him. What is Virgil's attack 1? What does it look like? What is it? It's this tiny little circle. This is it. This is why he's such a good boss DPS, because his attack 1 is this tiny, tiny little circle. That's his attack 1. So what he was doing when he initially released 7 weeks ago is he was doing his attack 3 AoE instead of his attack 1, despite doing the attack 1 animation, because he was always supposed to do attack 1 as a follow-up, because it's Virgil. He does Judgment Cut to follow it up, and he can do Judgment Cut combos. This is literally what he does in the game. So all the people complaining about Virgil nerfs, the things that they're complaining about happened 7 weeks ago. 7 weeks. So let me go ahead now and pull up this list before I cut to the DPS sheet and show people exactly what happened. Anything else that this person complained about that is actually legitimate? No, nothing else is legit. People, what it is somebody says something, right? Somebody will say this unit does this, and then people won't test it. You don't test it. You say, oh, that unit do good. Oh, that unit better than other unit. Oh. And you don't think about it. Because why are we looking at Soul in his prime location? Like, Soul at his peak DPS, assuming that he's like half as good as Elfelt, which he's not. And then we're looking at Elfelt at average DPS. Why are we comparing peak versus average? Why don't we compare average to average? It's not. Why are we doing unfair comparisons between the two? And like I said, you guys will see in the clips that I'll post after this little rant. But yeah, this is basically a good little rant about like people asking for stuff, and like I said, you guys really need to think about what you're doing. So now, why did Elfelt get changed? So the main culprit and the main thing that got changed a lot is Love Shot. Love Shot was giga unhealthy for the game, as people could go ahead and wait, build up meter, wait for Love Shot, and then turn an entire mob wave to one-shot bosses. Were most people doing that? No, most people weren't using it like that. They don't know that it has those capabilities, but there's plenty of videos out there of people using Elfelt to one-shot 20 million plus HP bosses, just because that's how it worked. So it had to get drastically changed to compensate for it. The AoE had to get reduced, the HP conversion had to get changed, it had to cap out on mobs, and even then what it's doing now is it's converting 20 mobs via 10% HP, which is still very good because you're able to just instantly remove 20 mobs from that pool, and it's only on a limit of 3 times, so it can serve its intended purpose of being useful in PvP, while also allowing some use in infinites, but not infinite. Infinites were infinite when Elfelt first came out, and now there's an actual end to them. So that's why Love Shot got changed so heavily. It was incredibly unhealthy for the game in its previous life, and yeah. The passive 3 got changed because what she's supposed to be, just like the rest of these Guilty Gear units, she's supposed to be a burst damage unit, where she does a lot of damage in one sitting and then has downtime you have to face. And that damage in the burst is supposed to be really, really good, which it is for her. A lot of people are saying she's dead, she's useless, don't use her, blah, blah, blah. She's still very, very, very strong in terms of DPS. Is she going to be better than like Yuhoba, who's like got a whole team dedicated to him? No. But if you compare her, if you juice her with resources and compare her to other DPS, you will see how much she can output in a burst window in comparison, and see that 99% of the time she's doing more. And the fact that she's doing more on this giant AoE with crazy range whenever you activate this with Subaru. Do we have Subaru down? Let's put Subaru down. Watch. Like I said, you'll see more whenever I show like just shooting bosses. 70 range on 290k, right? 245k, etc. And you keep this with Subaru. And if you constantly cycle it with Subaru, you can abuse this passive a whole bunch and basically get her really, really high. I didn't even do this whenever I was testing with Subaru. You can get it even higher by actually activating Subaru to 300k, right? Like, you can get her damage so high by properly using her that it makes it so a lot of people don't really understand what they're complaining about, and a lot of people haven't done testing and haven't done the math to realize how good these units still are. They just see nerf and then they go crying, which I get it. I get it. It's not fun to have your favorite character nerfed, but some things are genuinely unhealthy for the game and make it impossible to maintain a game state. So they have to get changed. So hopefully that explains it. Hopefully this explains a lot of stuff and why the changes occurred. Basically, TLDR, DPS uptime for Elfelt was too great, so now she just properly has to manage her meter and actually face downtimes like the rest of the Guilty Gear cast. And then Love Shot was effectively making infinites, so we can't have nice things, so we had to completely gut it effectively, to where it wasn't able to basically one-shot 20 million HP enemies. And both things are my fault. You want to blame somebody, blame me. They're my fault. They are fixed now. She is in her final state. She will probably not be getting touched anymore. She is good to go. So, yeah. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. I'll post some clips after this little rant of the DPS stuff if you guys are curious. So you guys can see how much damage Soul does versus a single target versus Elfelt. Yeah, anyways, catch you guys later. Peace.